What's up, everybody? Welcome back. We're here with some more NFL DFS picks and lineup advice. This time, tonight's single game showdown slate, Thursday Night Football. Jacksonville Jaguars, New York Jets. Apologies to any fans of those teams, but somehow this is a game that has playoff implications, and it's going to be an interesting one. So welcome. I'm Brian Jester, co-founder here at Occupy Fantasy, single game $1 million winner. What we do in these videos, we talk about the injuries that impact the showdown slate, low risk, high risk lineup construction tips, general showdown strategies. Tonight, we have a very high level angle that we're going to be working with, so make sure you stick around for that. Now, interesting schedule, obviously, with Christmas Eve and Christmas this weekend. NFL has the main slate on Saturday, has a 3-gamer on Sunday. We have the showdown slate tonight, obviously. For Occupy Fantasy, we are doing the daily plug for the main slate for Saturday. That will come out probably sometime late tonight, early tomorrow morning. Our writer Chris will do a main slate video that will be posted Friday morning. We will not have a Sunday plug, but we will do a 3-game video. Jack and I, lineup builder, architect, and short slate crusher, we'll do the video. That will probably release Saturday night at some time. We'll do some live Q&As in Discord. The best way is just to make sure you subscribe to the channel. Get notified when we go live, upload these videos. Follow us on Twitter at Occupy Fantasy. Join our Discord to have all the latest updates for our content for this Christmas week slate. All right, let's jump into it. Jags and Jets. The most interesting thing that you have to know about tonight is the weather. Now, I understand that we may have made some poor weather decisions in the past. Not we collectively, just in general, people have made poor weather decisions. But in Showdown especially, there are benefits to playing one angle really hard, especially when we know the field isn't going to play it as heavily. Right around this time last year, we had the Bills and Patriots game, the infamous win game. Final score was 14-10. In this video, on that day, we talked about playing the running backs and defenses, ignoring kickers, don't play Mac Jones. I had a big hit. I think I won 30 or 40,000 that day, and a lot of our members and viewers were successful as well. However, there are some slates, if you remember, probably if you've been watching these videos all year, the Cleveland and Pittsburgh game earlier in the season, we recommended that everyone go under the field on kickers, under the field in the passing game, and it didn't end up working out. Now, understand, we're going to lose in high-risk contests 80% of the time anyways. Let's just be honest about everything here. So if we can find an angle that the field is underplaying and go heavily on it, the benefits are massive in a contest type like Showdown. So tonight, let's look at, I'm going to Dark Sky, who's one of our trusted weather sources. And this is in East Rutherford, New Jersey, which is where the game is being played tonight. And you see the red line here is the time that the game starts. So the temperature, not an issue. Feels like 40 degrees. That's fine. But it's right here. And again, when we talk about weather, there are a couple things. We have the temperature, we have the wind speed, and we have precipitation. Generally, the cold by itself doesn't mean much. Precipitation by itself doesn't mean much. Wind by itself can mean something depending on how strong the wind is. But when you have two of the three, that's generally when we start to see some implications on fantasy scoring. So we have near 100% chance of rain through the entire game. And it's not going to be light rain. It's expected to be heavy rain. And then you go down to the wind, and we have 15 miles per hour sustained winds. Let's scroll down here so you can see it. 15 miles per hour sustained winds through the entire game. Wind gusts up to 25 or higher. So we have heavy rain and wind. That's a big reason why this game total is down to 37 points. And as the public starts to catch on, more and more people see what's going on as the forecast gets finalized. More and more information comes out about it. Wouldn't be shocked to see the total go even lower. You have to remember the Jags have been playing in totals 45, 47 or higher in recent weeks. So there's a 10-point difference here, and maybe even larger based on where it ends up pre-lock. So let's go back to DraftKings here. Now, if the rain and the wind play an impact in the passing game, we have a major advantage if it plays out that way by limiting our receiver exposure, especially when we know that Garrett Wilson is going to be popular. Zay Jones, after his explosive games, have been popular. Christian Kirk will be popular. The quarterbacks, obviously, in Showdown will be popular. So while it's not like that Buffalo and New England game where Mac Jones literally attempted 3 passes, these teams will try to pass them tonight. The efficiency won't be there, more than likely. So limiting yourself to one quarterback, limiting yourself to one wide receiver per team, loading up on the running backs and the defenses. Kickers, maybe they get there if they can kick a bunch of short field goals. I don't see it happening in this type of weather, especially when we know that their ownership isn't going to be affected. We actually saw Justin Tucker in a goddamn hurricane be 40% owned on FanDuel before, so we know the field won't adjust here. So right there, you cut out a large portion of the player pool. So let's talk about low risk contests, 50-50s, double ups, head to heads. Really, what I think tonight, and again, this is more of a qualitative data than quantitative, because if we're looking at quantitative, we're looking at projections, we're looking at models, and those really can't truly state the impact of how the run pass ratio and run pass efficiency will be affected in a game like this. So even though the total's dropping, the run pass ratio in projections may not be affected or altered. So to me, I think in low risk contests and in all contest types, really this applies to all contest types tonight, is we can play the running backs at captain heavily. So that's Travis Etienne. He's one of them. Last week we had a minor shift in usage for the Jets backfield situation. Michael Carter and Zonovan Knight were the only two running backs to see the field. We've had this bullshit the past few weeks where Ty Johnson's gotten some work, James Robinson. Last week it was 33 snaps for Michael Carter, who saw just 4 rushing attempts and just 1 target, but played a lot. Then we have Zonovan Knight, who got most of the work actually, 13 carries, no targets. But these guys basically split snaps down the middle. But both these guys are in play. Zonovan Knight has the Q tag. He will play full practice yesterday. So Donovan Knight, you could play Michael Carter, expensive. No one's going to play him as much as they should based on the game script. The defenses, let's look at them here. Jaguars, Jets. And now you could probably play Trevor Lawrence, who's not bad, like Zach Wilson. Lawrence can run some as well. 9,800 per player. We could play Zach Wilson here. We could play one of the receivers. But really the key is getting in ETN and Knight in the defenses in all contest types. Now, in high-risk contests, the largest contest, even in small field, playing 2 defenses is probably overkill. Pick one and go with it. Build a game script around that. Again, limit yourself to 1 quarterback. Now, let's say we pair him with Zay Jones. Let's just say, right? That's not bad for low-risk contests or Christian Kirk or whoever. But when we're playing high-risk, don't play the receivers at captain. Don't play the quarterbacks at captain or MVP on FanDuel. Limit yourself to 1 pass catcher, maybe 2 if the second pass catcher is super cheap, like a tight end or a wide receiver 3 or 4, Jamal Agnew, who's going to get handoffs, design plays. Same thing for FanDuel as well, right? Let's go over here. ETN, Zonovan Knight, and I'm thinking low risk specifically here. 15K per player. We could play Zach Wilson. We could play one of the receivers, whatever it is. But really 2 running backs, multiple defenses. And again, in high-risk contests, large field and small field GPPs, limit yourself to just 1 defense. Don't play kickers tonight. Now, again, this may change. The forecast may change. And I also say that this is a very high-risk approach. If the weather doesn't cooperate or the teams are just more successful, then we're probably not in great shape. However, even if the weather doesn't have a huge impact, if these 2 teams just have poor performances, we've seen lower scoring game winning lineups look like what we're building here in just a bad game for the offenses. So we're not completely dead if the weather isn't an impact. It's not a great outcome, obviously. But again, there are rare slates throughout the year where we get angles that the field isn't playing heavily and we know will probably have an impact, and tonight is that. So to recap, play the running backs. Play the defenses. Probably limit yourself to 1 in high-risk contests. Don't play the kickers. Limit yourself to 1 pass catcher per team if they're expensive. 1 quarterback per team. Are there any other injuries that we should talk about just in case? I don't think so. Knight is okay. Mike White is out. It will be Zach Wilson. Trevor Lawrence has the Q tag, but he's going to play. I think that's it. One other reason not to play the passing game for Jacksonville is they're going to be missing their left tackle, Cam Robinson. Not great against his Jets defense. So looks pretty straightforward to me. And again, if this game doesn't work out like we expect it to, I expect many comments and many emails. I understand. But again, we're playing for the top prizes here. And we know that the field will not adjust. I mean, we saw kickers even 10% ownership in a game where field goals could not even be attempted in that game last year against in the Patriots-Bills game. We saw receivers with 50, 60% ownership in that game. It's going to be the same tonight. Garrett Wilson's going to be popular. Zay Jones is going to be popular. Quarterback's going to be popular. So kickers are going to get ownership. So not much else to say. Play the weather. Play it heavily. And if we lose, we lose. But if we win, and if we're right, we're going to be really right. And that's what we should be playing for, mostly in high-risk contests anyways. So for more in-depth thoughts, again, I'm recording this video at 10:30 a.m. Eastern. Our writer Bismo will have the daily plug out later this afternoon. That will have more detailed thoughts. It will have any updates to the weather, and he will update with inactives, weather, any news throughout the day leading up until lock. Has low risk, high risk lineup construction tips, low risk, high risk player rankings. So make sure you go check that out after you watch this video. Our model will be updated throughout the day. Most important thing about the model today is the ownership. Again, as I alluded to, even our model can't accurately capture what the weather might have on this game, but it will have the ownership correct. So make sure you check out the projected ownership and use our lineup builder to play around with different ideas. All this running back heavy, defense heavy stuff that I talked about in this video. Go into the lineup builder, make some rules, see what kind of lineups you can build, and leave some salary on the table. Don't be afraid to leave salary on the table tonight, because we're building for lineups like this. There are going to be tons of salary left over. I think that Bills and Patriots game had $3,000 to $5,000 left over in winning lineups. Don't be afraid to play lineups like that tonight on both FanDuel and DraftKings. So that'll do it for the video. Fingers crossed that the weather has an impact on the game. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Get notified when we go live, upload new videos. Give us that thumbs up. We appreciate it. Tells us to continue to make these videos. Helps others find the videos. Any questions, comment on the video below. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Tell me I'm an idiot. Tell me I'm smart. What are your lineup ideas for tonight? Comment on the video below. We'll get back to you for the slate locks. And you'll probably want to be in Discord for this, for most slates, but for this slate especially, as we talk about the different ramifications of the weather leading up through lock, and we sweat the game together. OccupyFantasy.com/Discord. Link is in the description below. Brian Jester, Occupy Fantasy. Thanks for listening, and good luck in tonight's hopefully rainy and windy Jaguars and Jets football game.